Good evening everyone and welcome po sa aking channel. This is Coach Jarret. Today is January 18, 2021. Ayan. Ayan. So, okay na yung ating intro. Thank you very much po sa 104 viewers. 104 ba? Tama ba? 111 na pala. 111 viewers na nandito ngayon. Alive na alive si Coach. By the way, shoutout nga pala sa mga moderators natin. Si Umaarting Penmanship, si Ate Susan, si James Joseph Bardos. Mamaya siguro nandito rin si Nick. Tapos si Wild Orchids. Sino ba? Si Teacher Jeff. Wala pa si Teacher Jeff. Hindi ko pa siya nakikita. Busy ba siya ngayon? Si Teacher Jeff. Ayan. So, ayan na nga mga Tabergads. So, let's give our appreciation to our moderators. Okay? Mamaya andito rin si Southern Cooks. Okay? Siya yung ating admin for tonight. Okay? Papasalamatan muna natin ang isa sa ating mga supporters. Okay, si Wonderfully Made. Okay, so hindi na siya featured business partner. Isa na siyang supporter. Okay, supporter. Ayan. Wonderfully Made po, ang kanya pong business ay pag-curate ng mga regalo. Okay, so gumagawa po siya ng mga customized gift boxes for you and your loved ones. So, ito po ang kanyang bagong product. Wine mugs. Mga wine mugs ang kanyang bagong product. Okay. So mga Tabergads, kung gusto niyo pong regaluhan ng inyong mga minamahal ngayong Valentine's season, please contact si Wonderfully Made sa at wonderfullymade.ph. Also, pa-contact din po sa kanilang email address na makeyourwifebusy@gmail.com. Also sa kanyang Instagram page at wonderfullymade.ph. Fresh na fresh, hot off the press. DND, Department of National Defense, ends accord with UP prohibiting state forces in campuses. Ayan na! Ayan na! Handa na ba ang mga legal front ng CPP-NPA sa UP? Nagkalat kayo dyan. Handa na ba kayo? Eto na, papasukin na kayo. Kanina lang to, as in 8:17 PM, a few hours bago tayo nag-live, nabalita itong balita na to. Updated 9:53 PM, ang sabi, the Defense Department o yung DND natin, Department of National Defense, has ended its decades-long accord with the University of the Philippines, which prohibits state forces to enter its campuses without prior notifying its officials, anchored on claims yet to be proven that the institution is recruiting members to the communist movement. Si philstar.com merong ganitong pa-statement, anchored on claims yet to be proven. Anchored on claims yet to be proven. Yet to be proven. As if walang testimonials, no? Walang testimonials na merong nangyayaring recruitment sa UP. Tingnan natin yan. Sabi ni Secretary DELFIN LORENZANA, had written to UP President Danilo Concepcion that the deal had been terminated beginning January 15 as per a report by UP student paper The Philippine Collegian. Mamaya si Philippine Collegian, pag-uusapan din natin yan. The accord was signed in 1989 between the UP President Jose Abueva and Defense Chief Fidel Ramos, that also holds the military and police, cannot enter any UP campus except in cases of hot pursuit and similar occasions of emergency or when assistance is requested by university officials. Ito yun, Department of National Defense, President Danilo L. Concepcion, January 15, 2021. So recently lang to, mga 3 days ago. Dear President Concepcion, this has reference to the agreement. Okay, ito yung accord. A Soto Enrile Accord, if I'm not mistaken. Copy attached, executed by the Department of National Defense and UP on June 30, 1989, concerning the conduct of military or police operations in any of the UP campuses. The agreement stipulates certain limitations wherein the military and the police are prohibited from entering the premises of any UP campus. Lahat to ng UP campus, UP Diliman, UP Manila, UP Cebu, UP Los Baños, any UP na nag-exist sa Pilipinas. Bawal pumasok ang militar, bawal din pumasok ang kapulisan. Without prior notification to the UP administration with which this department finds as a hindrance in providing effective security, safety, and welfare of the students, faculty, and employees of UP. Ito yung agreement. The Department of National Defense through the Honorable Fidel V. Ramos, Secretary, and the University of the Philippines System through the Honorable Jose V. Abueva, the President. So ito yung agreement na sinasabi ni Secretary DELFIN Lorenzana. Alam niyo mga taberkas, si Secretary DELFIN Lorenzana, hindi ako pabor dyan kay Secretary Lorenzana. Minsan-minsan meron siyang moments of brilliance tulad nito. Paminsan-minsan lang to. Kaya samantalahin natin. Okay. So basahin natin yung actual na dokumento. Having in mind the establishment of our democracy and the goal of building a peaceful, just, and humane society as enshrined in the 1987 Constitution, ito yung mga principles bale ng agreement. Having in mind the policy of the police on the one hand and the University of the Philippines on the other, that no member of the police, grabe dito pala, no member of the police may conduct any police operation on the UP Diliman campus without prior coordination with or as requested by UP authorities. Grabe. Tindi, no? Tindi. Imagine si Justice Leonen, pinaikot ang batas para sa NPA. Ang UP, nagbigay ng sanctuary. Sanctuary, ibig sabihin, isang lugar kung saan hindi sila mahahawakan. Sa NPA, sa CPP-NPA. Tindi rin, no? Having in mind the relationship between UP and its students, faculty, and employees, as well as the academic freedom and institutional autonomy of UP in the governance of its affairs, and its responsibility to maintain proper behavior and conduct among the members of the UP community, having in mind the responsibility of the Armed Forces of the Philippines and the Philippine Constabulary, dati po ang tawag po sa police natin ay Philippine Constabulary. Hindi pa po sila Philippine National Police. Philippine Constabulary Integrated National Police in the protection of national security, enforcement of law, and maintenance of peace and order. Okay. Have reached the following agreements. So ito na yung agreements na pinag-uusapan. By the way, bago tayong patuloy, thank you very much sa 757 na nanonood po sa atin. It's much appreciated, mga tabernas. Balik tayo. Okay, ano daw ang kanilang mga agreement dito sa Soto Enrile Accord? Prior notification shall be given by a commander of an AFP, PCINF, or Citizens Armed Force Geographical Unit, CAFGU, unit intending to conduct any military or police operation in any of the campuses in the constituent universities of the UP Diliman, UP Manila, UP Los Baños, and UP Visayas, or in any of the regional units of units in Baguio, San Fernando, Tacloban, Miagao, and Cebu to the UP. Parang kulang yun. To the UP, okay, President or the Chancellor of the constituent university or the Dean of the regional unit concerned or their respective officers in charge in the event of their absence when the situation so warrants. Ano po yung unang item na pinag-agrihan daw? Ano po yung unang item na yan? Ang unang pong item, mga tabernas, bago daw pumasok ang pulis at ang militar sa loob ng kahit anong eskwelahan ng UP, kailangan magpaalam muna sila. Kahit legitimate operation to, ha? Kahit lehitimong operasyon to. Okay? Kahit lehitimong operasyon, kailangan magpaalam sila sa President, sa Chancellor, sa Dean, or sa kahit anong officers in charge kung wala yung tatlong yun. Imagine, pulis ka, hindi ka makapasok sa loob ng campus. Imagine. Next, ito yung sinulat kanina ni Secretary Lorenzana. Except in cases of hot pursuit and similar occasions of emergency, or in cases defined in the next succeeding paragraph or ordinary transit through UP premises, no member of the AFP or PCINF or CAFGU shall enter the premises of any of the campus or regional units aforementioned. Diba? Antindi, diba? So parang bawal na bawal talaga ang mga pulis sa loob. Ito pa. Whenever requested by law enforcers, so kailangan mo na humingi ng request, the appropriate UP officials shall extend the necessary assistance in the enforcement of the law within UP premises. In this regard, UP officials shall endeavor to strengthen UP's own security. Kaya po merong sariling pulis ang UP. Police and firefighting capabilities so as to leave no vacuum that can be exploited by malefactors or criminal elements. Hindi, di ba? Hindi. At hindi itong UP, mga tabargas, ha? Ano talaga to? For the longest time, since 1989, hindi mapasok talaga to ng ating kapulisan. Hindi mapasok ng militar dahil sa Soto and Relay Accord. Ano na ngayon? 2021 na. Okay? Nalampasan ko to. Kasi, ito, item number 3, sinasabi lang na kailangan na kapag inisip ng UP President or Chancellor or kahit sinong dean na kailangan nila ng pulis, saka lang sila pwedeng pumasok. Sa item number 3. Yan, item number 3 yan. Ito, merong maganda dito eh. Merong maganda dito sa item dito sa sa page 4, page 3. Members of the AFP, itong number 4. Members of the AFP or the PCINF, okay, ito po yung pulis natin, or the CAFGU shall not interfere with peaceful protest actions by UP constituents within UP premises. Kaya po mga taberkas, kung maalala nyo, nitong pandemic, saan lagi nag-rally? Di ba sa loob ng UP? Yun po kasi yun. Hindi po covered ng mga permit ang loob ng UP. So, anytime, pwede kang mag-rally dyan. Anytime yan. O, diba? Hindi. Ito pa, pinakamatindi nito, mga tabergans. The service of search or arrest warrants on any UP student, faculty, employee, or invited participants in any official UP activity shall, as far as practicable, be done after prior notification is given to the UP President or Chancellor of the constituent university or Dean of the regional unit concerned or their respective officers in charge in the event of their absence. Ano po ibig sabihin nito? Halimbawa, pulis ako. May search warrant ako. Aaresto ako ng mga terorista, mga NPA sa loob ng UP. Bago ako makapag-conduct ng aresto doon, bago ko ma-implement ang aking warrant of arrest, o bago ako makapag-search sa mga grupo ng doon, sa mga LFS, yan, sa mga grupo doon, kailangan ko munang ipaalam to sa UP President, sa UP Chancellor, or sa mga dean ng regional units. Imagine, paano pag hindi pumayag si UP President? Paano pag hindi pumayag? Paano pag sinabi niya, hindi, sige, ang gagawin namin, we'll get our lawyer. UP ka. May law school ka. Dean mo silyonin. Di ba matagal siya naging dean ng UP? 12 years. Dean mo silyonin. Nagpaikot ng batas para makapagpalusot ng NPA. Di tapos ang boxing. Tapos ang boxing dun. Antindi nga eh. In case of prior notification, the party serving the warrant shall coordinate closely with the members of the UP Police or security who shall accompany and assist them in the service of the warrants. So, babantayan sila mag-serve ng kanilang warrant. Bantay sarado sila. Diba? Special tong UP eh. Sobrang special nito eh. Ito pa. Ito pa yung nakakatuwa sa ginawa nila to. Ayan. Item number 6. The arrest or detention of any, kahit sino, UP student, faculty, or personnel anywhere in the Philippines, ha? Take note, hindi na to covered ng loob lang ng UP. Anywhere in the Philippines shall by the fastest means of communication be reported immediately by the responsible head of the AFP or PCINF unit affecting the arrest or detention of the UP to the UP President, Chancellor of the Constituent University or Dean of the Regional Unit or their respective officers in charge in the event of their absence, who shall then take necessary action. Woo! Imagine, kung ako, UP student, UP faculty, or UP student, UP faculty, or personnel, kahit saan sa Pilipinas, ay nahuli ng kapulisan natin. Kailangan sabihan ng head ng umaresto ang UP. Tapos, ang UP ang gagalaw on my behalf. Hindi talaga nitong UP na to. Hindi ko alam ba't pumirma dito si Ramos talaga. Hindi ko talaga naiintindihan ba't siya pumayag dito. Sobrang onerous to eh. Kumbaga sa mga kontrata, onerous to. Pabor lang sa kabila. Walang nakakuha ang dito. Walang nakakuha ang Department of National Defense dito. Ito. No UP student, faculty, or employee shall be subjected to custodial investigation as far as practicable prior notice to the UP President or Chancellor. Ganun ulit. Hindi pwedeng imbestigahan ang kahit sinong taga-UP nang walang komunikasyon o walang notice na ipinaparating sa UP President, sa Chancellor, or sa mga deans ng regional units. Ang tindi, no? Special talaga. Special talaga sila. Ay, nako. The parties hereby agree to constitute joint monitoring group composed of the UP faculty, regent, the UP student regent, the UP vice president for public affairs or his representative, the UP vice chancellor for student affairs, the undersecretary for national defense for civilian relations or his representative. Okay, so mga ano na yan, mga involved. Number 8, nothing herein shall be construed as a prohibition against the enforcement of the laws of the land. So, ano po yung nandun sa loob? Na pinakamatindi. Wala raw nakasulat sa loob na titignan na paglabag sa batas ng Pilipinas. Kahit na po ito ay salungat sa batas ng Pilipinas, hindi raw po yan titignan as such. Titignan po yan as an agreement between UP, ng PNP, at ng Department of National Defense. Hindi, di ba? Ibang klase talaga eh. Special talaga sila. Mga pinagpala, pinagpala ng Panginoon. Okay. 784 na po tayo ngayon. Maraming pong salamat sa inyong pagsuporta. Pa-i-continue pong i-share ang atin pong video, no? Para marami pa pong maka-join. Tulad ni Alvin. Nasaan na si Alvin? Namiss ko siya agad. Nabalikan ko yung mga comments. Wala na si Alvin. Kinake out ba? Anyway. Dinelete niya yung huli niyang message. Anyway. Going back. Sabi ni Kathy G, this is totally against the law. It is, in principle, pero dahil nagkaroon nga ng agreement, sino ang pumirma? Si Ramos. Yan, si Ramos ang pumirma. Siya ang Secretary of National Defense sa mga panahon na yun. So dahil pumirma siya, edi hindi siya considered na violation ng batas. Tindi, di ba? Tindi. Anyway, so ano pong naging reaction ng UP dyan? Siyempre, hindi natin sila i-expect na mag-react ng napakaganda, di ba? Parang welcomein lang nila yun, di ba? Hindi natin expect yan. Ito si Philippine Collegian. Si Philippine Collegian, mga Tabergans, ay weekly newspaper ng UP. official weekly student publication of the University of the Philippines, Diliman. Okay? Ano po ang sabi? Ayan na. Ito ang sinabi ng Philippine Collegian. Muling inaatake ang Universidad ng Pilipinas. Mula sa nais ng mga mambabatas na magkaroon ng pulis at militar sa campus, ngayon pinahihinto na ang 1989 UP-DND Agreement. Ang kasunduang nagbabawal sa presensya ng pulis at militar sa universidad. Sa isang liham kay UP President Danilo Concepcion, dineklara ni Department of National Defense DND Secretary DELFIN LORENZANA ang pagtatapos ng kasunduang ito upang umano'y magbigay proteksyon sa mga kabataan mula sa komunistang grupo. Ito sa kabila ng kawalan ng probisyong hinggil sa kapangyarihan ng DND na ipawalang bisa ang UP-DND Agreement. Teka, paano nangyaring wala silang provision? So, ibig sabihin, ano to, parang forever. Dahil hindi nakasulat doon na pwede ka mag-back out anytime, forever siya. Ganun pala yun. Sige. Malaya at mapagpalayang kaisipan ang tanging nililinang ng UP. Talaga, malaya at mapagpalayang kaisipan talaga. Ang pagtaguyod nito ng karunungan lapat sa mga isyong panlipunan na siyang nagluluwal ng sa kabataang naghahangad ng kalayaan at hustisya para sa lahat. Oh, don't fool yourself, please. Don't fool yourself, Philippine Collegian. Sama-sama nating ipamalas ang kakayahan ng mga kabataan bukas 10 a.m. sa Quezon Hall. So magrarally na naman sila bukas. Magrarally na naman sila bukas. Okay? Ayan ang ng Philippine Collegian. Alam nyo, mga bata kayo. Itong mga bata na to, Itong mga batang to, di ko alam kung anong kinakain to sa umaga. Ay, naku. Ano bang kinakain sa umaga, mga bata kayo? Tingnan natin kung paano napasok ng CPP-NPA yan. Ang UP. These narratives were published in a blog. So, sa blog po ito. By Roberto Beto Reyes, who seems to have been a ranking cadre or cadre in the late 1970s and 1980s and an eyewitness and participant to the communist conquest of UP. Mga Tabergads, nabanggit po kanina ni Leonin na siya po ay pumasok sa UP noong 1979. 1983 siya ay pumasok sa law school. Ngayon, mga Tabergads, hindi natin alam kung ano yung mga sinalihan niyang grupo sa loob ng UP. Hindi po natin alam yan. Pero, kung pagbabasihan po natin ang kanyang kwento, dahil naging lawyer po siya ng FLAG, Free Legal Assistance Group, at siya po ay nagtanggol ng 2 NPA. Mukhang isa sa mga komunistang grupo po siya napasama. Nung siya po ay nasa UP pa. So, paano po napasok ng mga komunistang grupo ang UP? Going for it were underground and above ground assets. It had painstakingly developed in 1973 and especially in 1974. Besides, party leaders opined the initial shock of the declaration had vanished. So, noong 1973 hanggang 1974, binubuo na po nila ang CPP sa loob ng campuses ng UP. Okay, so, paano po nila pinasok yan? So, ito nga po, noong 1975, ang ginawa po nila ay bumuo po sila ng network sa loob ng UP. Made up of more than 80 cadres and members, 80 cadres and members, and about thrice this number were national democratic activists. So, pinasok po nila ang UP noong 1975. 80 silang pumasok. 80 silang pumasok. Mga leader at miyembro ng CPP. Tapos, so thrice the numbers, so mga 240 were National Democratic activists. So, mga aktivista sila. D2, Diyos ko, napakaraming layers. Napakaraming layers naman ito. So, meron kang URC. Sa taas ng URC, meron kang komiteng tagapagpaganap o yung KT. Sa ibabaw ng KT, meron kang D2, si District 2. Sa ibabaw ni District 2, meron kang MR, Manila Rizal Committee. Diyos ko, napakaraming layers. Napakaraming layers. Grabe. Okay. The MR's leadership or yung Manila Rizal Committee was newly taken over by Philemon Lagman, si Kapopoy. Si Kapopoy. Si Kapopoy po ang nagtatag ng Alex Bongkayaw Brigade, ABB. Na eventually, naging breakaway group ng CPP-NPA na pinapatay naman ni Joma eventually. So ngayon, ito na, pumasok na si Lagman. Okay, siya yung nag-impluwensya sa UP. At ikinalat niya ang Partido Komunista sa loob ng UP. Tapos bumuo siya ng grupo na ang tawag ay Organizational Department, na ang trabaho ay ang organizational maintenance and political guidance of the numerous party groups and national democratic core groups. These were embedded in the various student organizations, in the newly elected student conference, and in the Philippine Collegiate. So, ganito po ang ginawa nila. Essentially, meron silang 80 na mga leaders at members. Yung 80 na yon kasama pa ng 240 na mga miyembro din na aktivista, pinasok nila ang UP. Itong 240 plus 80 na leader at member, nagbuo ng iba't ibang organisasyon sa loob. Itong mga organisasyon na to, pinasok nila ang mga lehitimong grupo ng UP, tulad ng Student Council at ng Philippine Collegiate. Merong isang grupo sa UP na masasabi ko na sila yung pinakamatatag at pinakamalaki at pinakamatibay na communist front sa loob ng UP. Yan ay ang LFS o League of Filipino Students. League of Filipino Students. Okay, meron ding sumulat din itong si Reyes, si Beto Reyes, tungkol sa kanyang testimonya nung panahon na itinatatag ang LFS o League of Filipino Students. Apparently, mga Towergods, ang LFS pala ay ang dating Kabataang Makabayan. Yan. Ito po, bago po nagkaroon ng martial law, ito po yung grupong unang itinatag ni Joma Sison, yung Kabataang Makabayan. Okay, at nangyari po sa Kabataang Makabayan dahil po nagkaroon ng martial law, 1973, naglaylo po ito. Naglaylo siya. At ang grupo po ng CPP sa loob ng UP, pumaraan para magkaroon muli sila ng grupo na tunog legal, pero ang totoong pakay nito, ipasok ang mga estudyante sa Kabataang Makabayan. Pag naipasok na sa Kabataang Makabayan, dire-diretso na to papunta ng NBA. Antindi. So, ito yung LFS. Ayan, League of Filipino Students. Ito yung pinakamalaking aktivistang grupo sa loob ng UP. Ang daming members niyan. So, ito na nga, 1977, martial law na. Gusto nilang i-revive yung Kabataang Makabayan. Ayan. Nagkaroon ng proposal na i-revive yung Kabataang Makabayan dahil gusto po itong buuin muli ni Joma. Ayan, si Jose Maria Sison. Okay. Sison was the first chairman of KM with Nilo Tayag being the second. Okay. Tapos, ayun na nga, usap-usap, maraming usap. Lalampasan ko na yung iba kasi masyadong mahaba itong kwentuhan. Nagkaroon sila ng meeting. Nagkaroon ng meeting yung NDFYS, National Democratic Front Youth Sector, if I'm not mistaken. Sa seminar house nila na mukhang kumbento daw. The seminar house was a traditional kumbento attached to a church. Built in Spanish-era style, it was spacious, well-lit, and airy living room on the second floor, which had been converted into a seminar room. So, lalampasan ko po ito kasi marami pong descriptive dyan. Dediretso na po ako dun sa sulat ni Joma Sison. Ito na yung sulat ni Joma Season. The KM, yung Kabataang Makabayan, nung mga panahon na yon, dahil nga underground, ay merong code name. Si Karina. Hello, Karina. Si Karina. Si Kabataang Makabayan yon, si Karina. KM, code name Karina, was to be revived as an underground organization. KM would accommodate the hundreds of student activists who had participated in the boycotts but who could not be formally integrated into the CPP just yet. Kumbaga, parang ito yung purgatorio. Parang ganun siya. Hindi pa sila pwedeng tumawid sa CPP. Okay? Baka kailangan pa ng mas matinding indoctrination, what have you. So, dun muna sila kay Karina sa Kabataang Makabayan. Pero mga Tupper Gods, underground to. Underground to. Okay, these students were called ND, o National Democratic Activists by the CPP, and would have been members of generic National Democratic core groups in the absence of unifying organizations. Salampasan ko po ito kasi baka ma-demonetize ang ating video. Pero di-describe ko po yun. Yung pong picture na yon ay isang bangkay ng estudyante na napag-alaman na galing siya sa LFS ng UP Cebu na napatay sa isang enkwentro. Anyway, going back. Ito na nga, sumulat na nga si Joma Season. Sabi niya, I understand KM is reinvigorating itself. O binubuhay daw muli ng Kabataang Makabayan ng kanilang sarili, sabi ni Joma Season. Season went on to cite the importance of a covert organization that would link the various ND core groups. Kwento siya, sabi niya, kailangan natin ng organisasyon na underground na na itong underground organization na to ang magkakabit sa ating mga legal fronts, National Democratic core groups. So, kasama dyan si Kabataan, mga iba pa nilang mga grupo-grupo that had been formed in the past few years, but especially after the bountiful campaign against tuition fee increases. Sabi niya, this can be done by offering student activists an underground organization that gives a collective outlook to their apparently isolated undertaking. So, pagsasama-samahin sila, underground. Walang nakakaalam nito. Sila-sila lang. So, lalampasan ko po yan. Lalampasan ko po. Kasi, dito na ako pupunta. Nag-meeting sila. Dito sa ilalim. As the letter went around, he proposed that they spend the first session discussing how to revive KM. So, first session daw na kanilang meeting. Pag-usapan kung paano bubuhayin si Kabataang Makabayan. Yung pangalawa, ay pag-usapan nila kung gagawa sila ng isang legal student organization. Yan ang pangalawang pinag-usapan nila. Sa umpisa, paano bubuhayin si KM? Pangalawa, kung paano itatago si KM. Eto na. Napag-usapan nila, eto. Bakit daw kailangan ng legal organization? Sabi ng sulat ni Joma Season, the legal organization was necessary to aggressively expand the student anti-martial law movement. Wala akong ibang pinaglalaban to kundi yung anti-martial law movement. Demand the restoration of student councils and publications and otherwise shrewdly project a legal version of KM. So, totoo ang sinasabi ni Ka Eric. Alala niyo yung kwento ni Ka Eric? Na ang nasa ibabaw daw sila LFS. Ang nasa ilalim nun si Kabataang Makabayan. So, yung strategy nga na kinuwento ni Ka Eric, yun ngang gawain ng LFS. According po ito sa history nila. Okay? It was to be pro-student and patriotic, yet must survive the harsh times. It should evince enough militancy to attract radically inclined students, yet exude enough restraint not to be suppressed straight away. So parang isang grupo nasa gitna lang talaga. Saktong-sakto lang yung setting nito. Aggressive pero hindi masyadong aggressive para hindi ka mapansin ng gobyerno. Pero hindi ka rin masyadong tame para makakuha ka ng mga radikal. So nasa gitnang-gitna lang talaga siya. Naming the organization was critical, sabi nila. Kailangan daw, pangalan daw ay meron pa ring appeal na radikal. Pero, yung itsura niya ay parang pangkapayapaan ang dating. Parang chill lang ang dating. So, nabuo na po ang pangalang League of Filipino Students or LFS. Ayun na nga. Tapos gustong-gusto nila lahat yun. Everyone conceded that the use of Filipino was a giveaway. Idol lang gumamit ng Tagalog kasi pag ginamit lang yung Tagalog, edi alam na CPP agad sila. Kasi nung panahon na nga naman na yun, lahat ng organisasyon ng CPP ay Tagalog. Pero ito in English nila para hindi raw obvious. By using English for the organization's title, it was given a veneer of temperance and discipline. A tricky part was deciding on the first word. The contenders were association, society, union, alliance, organization, and league. League was chosen because of its novelty, restraint, and subtle militancy at katunog daw nito ang Liga Filipina. Gusto nila itong ikabit sa grupo na binuo ni Jose Rizal na Liga Filipina na nagsulat ng mga articles ng La Liga Filipina. Yun na nga ang kwento ng LFS. This meeting is historically significant because in it, the CPP not only approved KM's revival, but also decided to establish the LFS and chose its name. LFS was founded a few months later on September 11, 1977 at the Asian Labor Education Center at the University of the Philippines. KM and LFS remain to be essential players in the still unsettled decades-long Philippine insurgency. Ngayon mga Tabergans, asa na yung Alvin na yan? Ngayon nyo sabihin, mga taga-UP, kasi yung testimonya yun ng dating CPP na nag-NPA noong mga panahon na yun. PhilStar, sisitahin kita. Ngayon mo sabihin, okay, itong sinabi mo na yet to be proven. Yet to be proven, ha? PhilStar, yet to be proven talaga. Hindi ko na babasahin yung kay Philippine Collegian kasi alam naman natin na pinasok na nga yan ng mga komunista. So, hindi na natin mabasahin yun. Pero ito si PhilStar, dahil mainstream newspaper siya, I expect a higher standard para sa kanya. Kaya kating-kat ito, DND, na i-cancel ang agreement, yung Soto Enrile Accord. Sabi, total naman, wala sa agreement na bawal mag-back out. Wala sa agreement na anytime, na hindi mo pwedeng i-cancel to anytime. Wala dun sa agreement na pag after 21 years, pwede kaming mag-back out. Walang ganun mga stipulation sa agreement. Mas ang agreement, bawal ang pulis at ang militar sa loob ng UP. Yun lang ang agreement. Pero, dahil tahimik ang agreement sa kung paano kakakala sa agreement na to, di pwede kang umalis anytime. Pwede kang umalis anytime. Hindi naman identified doon kung paano ka pwedeng umalis na hindi ka pwedeng umalis. Silent Hindi naman sinabi doon na bawal umalis, na bawal kumalas. Di wala. In this respect, please be notified, sabi yan ni Delfin Lorenzana kanina. Please be notified that the DND-UP agreement executed on June 30, 1989 is hereby terminated or abrogated effective this date, January 15, 2021. Lastly, I wish to emphasize the paragraph 8 of the agreement explicitly states, nothing herein shall be construed as a prohibition against the enforcement of the laws of the land, which shows that the parties to the agreement recognize the primary responsibility of the law enforcement agencies in implementing the laws without hindrance as long as it is within the prescribed procedures mandated by the law. Anchoring on this position, the agreement has become moot and academic. Warmest regards and best wishes. Parang napaka-plastic ng huling statement na yan. Pero okay lang. Sabi ko nga po sa inyo kanina mga tabergans, so every now and then, itong si Delfin Lorenzana ay may moments of brilliance. Pero, ayun na nga. By the way, no, bago ko tapusin to, let me highlight. Sinabi rin po ni Delfin Lorenzana, we do not intend to station, so hindi sila maglalagay doon ng mga pulis at military sa loob ng UP campus. Hindi rin daw nilang gusto na pigilan ang pagrarally sa loob. Hindi rin daw nila gusto yan. Yung academic freedom and freedom of expression. Okay? The Department of National Defense has nothing to gain from suppressing these rights and freedoms. But, we will only alienate it further from the people. Our armed forces and police are willing to reach out to the youth and provide them with another perspective on our nation and society. We want them to see our armed forces and police as protectors worthy of trust, not fear. Okay? In pursuit of the true national peace and development, it is time to terminate and abrogate the existing agreement. Sabi nga ni Secretary Delfin Lorenzana. Iba rin no? Iba rin yung history nitong very interesting yung history ng UP pagdating sa mga kaliwang grupo. Merong si Leonen, nandyan si Leonen, na naging pumasok noong 1983. Pumasok sa law school ng pumasok siya ng 1979 sa College of Business ata yun. Economics. Tapos nag-law noong 1983, pumasok sa flag, may pinaglabang dalawang NPA, nakalusot may pinaglabang NPA, nakalusot yung NPA. Ngayon, yung kanyang strategy ang ginagamit ng NUPL para palayain din yung mga aktivistang teroristang hinuli ng mga PNP. Very interesting. Very interesting din mga tabergads yung history ng LFS at kung paano pinasok ng CPP-NPA yung mga lehitimong grupo sa loob ng ng UP. And it's about time natapusin na yan. It's time natapusin na yan. Masyado na maraming batang namatay, masyado na maraming pamilya na apektuhan. It's about time that we put a stop to the actions of the CPP, NPA, NDF sa loob ng UP campus. Kasi wala na designated na yung CPP. At if I'm not mistaken, nasa proseso na ng pagpo-proscribe ng mga individuals. Gumagalaw na yung AMLAC para i-freeze ang mga assets ng CPP-NPA. Kaya yan. Unti-unti nang natutulog ang CPP-NPA sa Pilipinas. So good luck na lang. Good luck na lang sa mga makakaliwang grupo. Maraming pong salamat sa mga, ilan ba yung kanina? Around mga 700, 800 daw, sabi ni admin ang nanonood ngayon. Maraming pong salamat sa inyo pong time at tomorrow pong muli 11 PM tayo po magkita-kita dito po sa aking YouTube live, Coach Jarret Live. Lagi po yan at 11 o'clock. Also mga tabergans, wag niyo po kakalimutan, paki-like, share and subscribe po ang ating channel. Paki-share din po yung ating pong replay na ina-upload every day after po ng live natin. So God bless you sa mga kaibigan po natin OFWs. God bless your work. Sa mga nasa Pilipinas, God bless your rest. I'll see you all tomorrow on our next Coach Jarret Live. Bye everyone. See you tomorrow.